Welcome to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, where world-changing spiritual entrepreneurs come to deeply awaken the power within to bring forth their greatest purpose, to create massive awakened impact for millions of souls around the planet, while enjoying being in tune with all life and real wealth in all aspects of their lives. I'm your host, Daniel John Hanneman. Hello, everybody. So glad to be here. We have another great show. I have these amazing people I connected with on the red carpet, people that I probably normally would not get a chance to connect with, and including Jeff Hoffman, who was part of putting Priceline together. He is a billionaire. He's listed as one of the, 2,000 billionaires in the world. Got a chance to interview him. So he talks about, it's all about a vibratory rate, and you're going to manifest a vibration that you are, all things we've heard, but coming from someone like him has done so many things, including that, and he turned Pitbull into a star. He's part of that whole thing. You definitely want to hear from him about vibration and the little bit he has to share with it. But yeah, just those quick interviews, quick insights. We also have Jake Havron, and he's well known for helping business professionals like yourself to transform your energy and your health and your body. It's just such a beautiful soul. It's just, for the ladies listening, he's this hunk of a guy, and he's just filled with wisdom and heart and everything. So you definitely want to tune into his interview and what he has to share about being a spiritual rock star and how he helps. And we have Darrell Stern. He's just a funny, smart guy, and he talks about his own perspective on spiritual rock stardom, and he's a pretty well-known fellow in the world. And we have John Lee Rucker and Jenny Carrington, who's with I Am Mother Earth, and John Lee Rucker, who's with Permajam, bringing visionaries together to change the world, basically. I Am Mother Earth. Jenny, she was 2,500 miles into a walk that she's doing, and there's just incredible stories and things they have to share. So, little tidbits. So, definitely take it all in. There's just short interviews, maybe 6-7 minutes or so each, and I think you'll really enjoy it. And we're going to get started with the amazing Jeff Hoffman of Priceline and so many other things, and you're going to get to learn more about what he has to share, and I think it'll just help you realize how easy wealth can be and how easy it can be, and what are the keys to allowing your greatest visions to manifest. So he'll share about that as well. All right, so here he is, the amazing Jeff Hoffman.
So what I'm doing is I'm asking people, I'm with Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, so I'm asking you, what does it mean to you to be a spiritual rock star? Was that a book for you?
No, I think that's absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love the term of spiritual rock star. Because everything we're talking about here, impact, change, designing your own life, but more importantly, having a positive impact on others, you can't do any of that until you get yourself right? So until you are a fulfilled and stable and happy person, you can't really expect to be able to help other people to get there. So I think that spiritual rock star, you got to become one first, and then you can teach other people how to do that. In fact, I'm speaking here tomorrow, and my talk is about, quote, finding your frequency, which I think is very much in line with your being a spiritual rock star. It's what you have to do to get yourself to the place in the world that you want to be, and then when you feel that way, you can help deliver that to others. So I love that that's your topic.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, so tell me more about that. Tell us more about the big impact you're having with this work that you're doing.
So I think that hopefully the impact we're having is that there's so many people that want a better life, and they have ideas for how to do it, they just don't know where to start. They have the ideas, they don't have the tool set, the execution. So what we do is we teach people to bring out that skill set, but we teach them the skills they don't have. And I use the word entrepreneurship, but the truth is it's just self-determination. What set of skills do you need to design your own future? We teach people that set of skills, or how to build a team of people around them that have the skills they don't, so that they can design their future. And you don't have to accept the life you have, you can design the one you want.
Oh, wow. So you work with the frequency and you work with them building team and structures.
Absolutely,
and
because it's financial health, but it's spiritual health, it's emotional health, it's physical health, right? And then layered on top of that as a set of business skills. And if you can do your best, no one's ever going to get all those things right, so stop trying to be perfect.
Right.
But do your best at a lot of those things, and you'll be amazed at how far you can take yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one last thing, what advice would you give to other spiritual-based entrepreneurs or people that are up to big things, wanting to bring their purpose out into the world at the next level through their business? What would you advise them to do to take it to the next level?
Well, I think it's two things. One of them is to speak clearly and be brave, right? Emote, to actually share. A lot of times when people see someone that's successful, they assume that everything in their world is perfect and that everything came easy to them, and it didn't. A lot of times we lose our faith and we lose our way, right? And that spirituality is something that when you can't see the road ahead, right? It's dark at night and it's foggy and you still keep going that direction, and people say, how did you know to keep going? You didn't, right? You trusted, right? And so sharing and telling people that even if you're successful now, you weren't always, and you've been through tough times and you've been down, and you had a set of tools and your spirituality and the things that got you there. And so sharing vulnerability with people. But I think the other part is your tribe, right? Is that your energy comes from the people around you. So it's important for people to find people whose energy they like to be around them, because that the energy you put out in the universe is the energy you get back.
Right, absolutely. That is critical. So I'm so grateful to have had time to talk with you briefly, and look forward to continuing to connect with you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Great. So, all right. So I'm here with Jake Havron, and I'm just so grateful for you. I listened to a little bit of your talk. I've been really busy, but I've been just noticing just what an impact you're having on other people, just talking to other people at this City Summit. So I wanted to ask you, I'm asking everybody to start with, here at Spiritual Rockstar Podcast, what does it mean to you to be a spiritual rockstar?
Yeah, man, great question. So I don't know if people can see this or they're listening. I am, wearing my cross here. I'm a Christian, Christian by faith, and it's so important to keep the spiritual aspect into your purpose and your mission, right? As entrepreneurs, as busy performers, high performers, or you're just someone that's just getting started, no matter where you are, you want to make sure your spirituality is first. And granted, not every day is the best day. We sometimes forget that, but if you're a rock star and you are having your attempt to be better every single day, comparing to yourself, not to others, then you will be able to be a spiritual rock star and be able to impact people bigger than you can even imagine. That's my mission every single day.
Wow, I wanted to comment on that. Wow, yeah, comparing to yourself rather than to others, Look, I mean, look at this guy, okay, how strong he is, right? Come on. So for me, I could look and I'd be like, oh my God, comparatively speaking, man, I feel so not there or whatever, right? But someone that's really big like you once told me, he said, dude, don't compare yourself to anyone else. Like when you go to the gym, for example, just focus on improving yourself. And that is so true. That really hit home for me. I'm quit measuring yourself against anybody. It doesn't matter. Focus on yourself. So can you tell us more about that aspect?
Yeah, comparison is the thief of joy, right? It really is. And so another thing you can really take home from this is don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, right? Because I had my own journey too, and people will look at me and be like, oh, he was probably always born like that and healthy. I was the chubby kid growing up. I was growing up in Hawaii. I was picked on a lot. But that helped define me and find my purpose in a new way, right? So even though you might maybe have extra weight on you, maybe you're really skinny, or maybe you're just okay with the way you look, you can always become better, because you're either growing or you're dying. There is no complacency in life, because if you think you're being complacent, you're actually dying. It's just facts, and it's just the truth. So if every day you're just growing a little bit, even if it's just 0.01%, you are still making progress. And that is where you can stop comparing yourself with others and start being able to have that joy, because you're becoming better. And that's what really makes you happy. And plus, if you have your spiritual faith in there too, man, you're doing it for a bigger purpose, a bigger mission, and being able to serve for a bigger reason.
Absolutely. So just tell us briefly more about your work and how you're making a big difference.
Yeah, so I'm a health and success coach for clients all over the nation. I have a whole online program, And I work with people from small business owners to Fortune 500 CEOs to even Tony Robbins speakers themselves. And so I work on them and get their dream body the easiest way possible. And now with all success, 80% is psychology. So I give you the workout plans, I give you the meal plans tailored for you. But if we do not figure out why you want this, how we're going to make this sustainable, and the leverage in your life to keep it a lifestyle and not just a temporary plan, it won't be successful, because there's too much information out there to not say I don't know enough. It's about knowing why you want it, and that's what I really help you with. But I also give you the game plan so you can be getting your dream body.
Yeah, I mean, because what I find is people are like, they go to one diet to another, one exercise plan to another, and they're all over the place. And most of the time, they don't really know what their goals are anyway. They don't even know why I should be fitter or whatever, right? Yeah. So how can you help people like to get off that train, to like that wheel? Yeah.
The biggest thing that people struggle with the most is called paralysis by analysis. It means that you see so much different things, so much information, you end up doing nothing. Or you have the shiny object syndrome, which you just said. You do the keto diet for 30 days, you do some sort of fasting system for 30 days, but you don't stay to one thing that works. So what I could tell you, first off, is just start having the little habits. There's a little health tip I could tell you right away, is that when you wake up at first thing in the morning, drink 20 ounces of water. 20 ounces of water has been scientifically proven to show that it causes a 16% increase in metabolism, which means you're burning more fat, getting more energy just by drinking 20 ounces. Not 18, not 16. That is something small, but that little step, as you start to have more energy, now you might want to go on a walk. When you start doing more walks, now you might want to go to the gym more. That's the momentum. Success is not something super big and catastrophic. Success is the little things. Success is not running miles on miles. Success is waking up and putting your shoes on instead of going to your phone. That's the little stepping stones that cause long-term results and turn it into a lifestyle, whether it's health, whether it's your business, whether it's your relationships, your family. Start thinking of it in a small aspect and start taking the small steps. Don't think success is some sort of miracle thing that comes out of nowhere. It's the daily action steps you take every single day.
Right. I mean, just to being disciplined and make sure that you are continually taking those steps each day as best as you can, every single day, I find to be so critical in the practices of entrepreneurs and people that are healthy and all those kinds of things. So any last words, any last quick insights for people that are wanting to take their game to the next level to make greater impact as spiritual entrepreneurs?
Yeah, think about this too. The same thing with success, taking the small steps. The same thing with your faith. Faith isn't about going to some crazy place and going to meditate for days and like praying for hours. Success in your faith is about just surrendering on your daily, just your activities, taking a minute to just pray, taking a minute to just be thankful. Like those are the things that cause success in that. So, I'd love to be able to help anyone that's listening to this and be able to answer any questions. I mean, you can get connected with me on Instagram at Jake Havron. That's H-A-V as in vitamin, R-O-N. And send me a message. If you find me through this podcast, through this interview, send me a message, tell me that. But also, tell me, if this helped. If you've been drinking the 20 ounces of water every day, how much fat you already lost or how much more energy you have. And I would be so happy to tell you about it too. Say, hey, this person came through, and be able to help you further and be able to get you more help through my Instagram and through my programs that I do for all these clientele.
Amazing. So, I'm so grateful to meet with you, Jake, and I look forward to talking to you further going forward. And just an invincible, amazing spirit, and I'm just so grateful for what you're doing in the world. We're here with Darrell Stern, and I'm going to ask you, like I ask everybody, what does it mean to you to be a spiritual rock star?
What does it mean to be a spiritual rock star? I believe that it is how we are. In other words, how we behave, act, exist, that dictates, right, what happens to us and what manifests in our lives. So to me, being a spiritual rock star is be able to stay not rock star in a concert, right, like yelling and screaming in Rockstar, although I do like those kind of rock stars, right, but to actually stay, I don't like the word centered and balanced, but in some state of calm understanding mixed with maybe pride and confidence-ish. I don't know. There's no word for it, right? It's just this thing called spiritual, right? That's what we're calling it, right? So we don't really know with all the mixture of whether it's a little grape and a little sprinkles and a little bit more of the yogurt on top of it maybe. right?
Right,
So
right.
there's ish my definition of the spiritual rock star. And of course, the host of this podcast is one.
So thank you there, Darrell. That's what I'm hearing you essentially say is be yourself. Is kind of what I feel like I'm hearing. Is that fair to say that that's a big part of the equation to you? Like when we're talking about, because I talked to you earlier
Right.
the other day. That's what I was kind of hearing. You have to dig in to see who are you really, and let that shine. That's how I heard it.
I think the biggest spiritual, if you want to call it, spiritual satisfaction that we get, that our existence is purposeful and has meaning and it has is when we get to do our mic drops. When we get to do our mic drops and we get to slay at what we do, that is that thing that helps someone else. Now, it may be putting a roof on a building, might not, boom, better insulation in this house, boom. It may be basket weaving for kids that don't have baskets to go collect fruit in the Congo somewhere, boom, done, like slay, whatever it is. Our life, what I would think that we would hope to do is to get to use our gifts and do the thing that we slay at the most, right? Create as much opportunity to do that. Because when someone comes back to you and says, wow, you taught me something. Wow, you saved us some time. Wow, you really just moved us, then aren't we spiritually fulfilled the most when we're using his gifts, right? That's it to me. So in that, I kind of reverse engineer what this thing is called influence and influencer and this hot terminology. That I always say, look, I don't want to influence nobody. My life is a mess. Do not imitate me at all. I want to have no influence over you. But I can teach you things, right, and educate you and answer some questions based on my life experience, which is then allowing me to use my gifts to help you. So everyone has gifts. There's a balance, and that then creates community where you're good at one thing, I'm good at another thing, they're good at another thing. God help us if someone can add and subtract and do the bank account stuff, because I can't do that part, right? And then we all form a community, which is called a church, right? And the whole philosophy of in the Bible, and the biggest thing about it was that there would be the church, that there would be a place of worship that people would gather, and they'd gather on one day of the week, right? And they'd worship together, therefore creating a group. Only now it's called Super Psychedelic Basket Weavers from Nebraska on Facebook group. But it's the same thing, because every Wednesday night they go to church with their baskets.
That's right. That's
right?
exactly right. Yeah, it's all happening on those Facebook groups and other such things. So tell us then what more about yourself, what you do, and the big impact you're having with what you do.
Well, I'll give you an example of one thing that I do. There's an auto mechanic in Denver, Colorado, who met up with me about 4 years ago, and he is extremely gifted. He is a genius. He's a living Wikipedia of how to fix cars. And I said, my gosh, this guy, all we have to do is literally pull out of him all of his gifts. What you can teach, what you can demonstrate, and what you know is your SEO, and it is your influence. So I want to get on all the tech aspects of how we made these videos and transcribe them and interlinking them and all that. That you can find out in my Stern Marketing Academy app, which is free. It's on all the app stores and all that kind of stuff. And you can also go to sternmarketingacademy.com and join my $7 a month mastermind group, where we just jam out and I teach you everything that I know for fun, because I love that feeling for me, right? That spiritual thing where I get to give back and just teach, because my parents were teachers. They are gone upstairs. They took the elevator upstairs to the kingdom up there a long time ago. But when I get to teach, I feel still them in me, right? Which is a spiritual connection. Bam, rock star status.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm sure they're smiling upon you right now. I can feel it. Absolutely, totally. So,
that's sweet, man.
yeah, wonderful. So tell me then, what additional insights or wisdom would you have for spiritual entrepreneurs that are wanting to actualize their biggest vision, so that thing that calls deep down inside of them?
Well, okay, so here's what I say about what we would call the woohoo people, right? Which are in Colorado, we call those the people that are in Boulder, Colorado. So, haha, just kidding. But what I would say is I create what's called situational avatars. In other words, I'll give you an example. So I talked to a lady named Dagmar. She could pull auras out of your stomach, and they had unicorns, and they were different colors, right? And I said, lady, I'm not going to pay you $1,000 to do that. I have no idea what you're talking about, and it sounds like you're on drugs. So instead, we marketed her saying, hey, you are like a car, right? A car runs out of gas. We all run out of gas, spiritually, energy-wise, right? We run out of gas. She is the pit stop, the 7-Eleven for your spirit, right? So we tied it around and made it related to something that was real, and then all of a sudden people said, oh my gosh, I need my spirit to be refilled at her pit stop for your spirit, 7-Eleven. There you go to heaven, boom, them. And that's it, right? You get it? Yeah. So for those people that are spiritual here, ground yourself in the real situation and talk to people about their real suffering that they're having in their real lives, and then move into how you're going to do it. Remember, people aren't buying how you do the solution, they're buying the benefit in the aftermath of having worked with you.
Right, exactly. What it's going to do for me is the bottom line, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we say it like used cars, but really, when you're not afraid to reach out for help, right? Then you're realizing, God's grace is being bestowed upon you, and the Spirit's being bestowed upon you, because then someone's being sent to you. You want to hear a joke?
Sure, you're a funny guy.
Okay, so the guy's in a river there, right? And he says, and all of a sudden the inner tube comes along. He's going to drown, right? And the inner tube comes along, and he goes, no. He goes, no, take it. I think God is going to save me. Jesus is going to come. Jesus is going to save me. And then and then the helicopter comes to save him, and they lower the ladders and all that. And he goes, no, don't worry. I paid Jesus. I felt Jesus. Jesus is going to save me. Finally, he drowns. He goes to heaven. Goes to the pearly gates, goes up to God, and he says, God, what am I doing with you? I prayed to you. He says, what the hell are you talking about? I sent you a helicopter, I sent you a raft, I sent you...
Is that right? Exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. I've told that.
Always see the signs,
I've told a variation
God
on that
works
one
in
many
mysterious
times.
ways.
Yeah, that's so. I love that. All the signs are there, and then people keep saying it's not there. They're not willing to allow themselves to see it's always right here. It's always right here. It's always right here. Everything you need. So,
all right, buddy. So I know you got a lot more podcasts interviews to do tonight here at the City Summit over here in the Beverly Hills.
That's right.
In Hollywood City. So I'm going to let you do what you do. You guys can tune into the other Stern Show. That's my podcast. This gentleman's going to be in my podcast soon. Keep being spiritual rock stars. We need you to do that.
Awesome. Rock on, brother. I'm here with John Lee Rucker. Wow. So looking forward to talking to you. A visionary leader who founded the organization PermaJam, which teaches human beings to live in harmony with each other and the earth. We'll get more into the rest of that in a moment. So the first question I'm asking is, what does it mean to you to be a spiritual rock star?
Well, spiritual rock star, wow, well, I really like to think that we're all stars, and I think that in our community, in PermaJam, we try to find what the natural talents are that everybody has, and I think being a spiritual rock star is about using your God-given talent. Whatever that gift is, we all have something, right? But you have to share it with the world, and if you're not sharing it, if you're not using it, I don't know, use it or lose it.
Right. And, isn't it true that if we're not using our gifts, then we'll always feel like something's off? I don't know why my life's not working. So,
exactly.
Isn't it true? I mean,
things start to flow when you just act natural and use that natural talent. Things start to flow.
Yeah, exactly. So, from there, I just want to ask, tell us more about the big impact you're making through your gifts and your talent.
Well, I'll say that. There are hundreds, if not maybe 1,000 or more people that have attended our gatherings that have had profound experiences and really deep healing. And a lot of people say that, when they come to the gatherings, it's like coming home, like they're remembering who they are and feeling like they're having a sense of being a part of a family that a lot of people haven't had throughout their life. So we're providing that through our community, and I'm a facilitator of the circles in our community. And then we're also making a profound impact on the land and the ecology. In our gatherings, people will come and attend in transforming land into thriving ecosystems that provide food for generations to come. And so I can't really imagine the ripples of what we're going to be leaving to future generations through this type of work.
Wow, so you are helping people that are visionaries and you're contributing to the sustainability of the planet and everything, right? So you've rolled it all into one. How amazing, and the sense of deep impact. So tell us more about the deep impact you're having on visionaries' lives.
Well, I think that our community Permajam is really, it attracts people that care deeply for the earth and what's going on right now. And a lot of those people are visionaries in their own right. They have visions for creating their own sustainable businesses or something that has to do with conscious, ecologically conscious culture or music or art. And they find collaboration through our communities and they get inspiration. And I'll say something that might be a little out there for some of the people listening, which is that when we gather, we have a fire, and that fire burns for 4 days and nights. And I say that fire there is really the source of our inspiration. We connect to that fire, and the visions come, right. The ideas come, the guidance, and you can call that whatever you want.
Well, that's an ancient ritual that so many cultures have used, and so it makes perfect sense to me. I'm sure this community, they are very open-minded. So, the last thing I wanted to ask is, what input would you have for any, spiritual entrepreneur that wants to make a bigger difference or wants to fulfill what they feel is their vision or their purpose in this world? Like, what advice do you have?
Well, if you're a spiritual entrepreneur, I would say pray about it, ask about it, tap into your heart and what you really, really want. What can you really offer the world? And, think about what it is that the world needs and what people need and what you can give to them. And I think that this world needs a lot of help right now. So if you're in the business of helping people, you're probably going to succeed.
Right. And my thought on that comes up is that it's so much... I believe it's so much simpler than what people believe, right? So the pathway to success is right in front of them, but it's only the voice in their head that keeps telling them, well, I don't know. It's like a shadow monster. So I have to follow them around. Yeah. So how do you deal? I mean, you must have dealt with fears and whatnot and continue to run into that at times. How do you walk through the valley of doubt and fear and death and all that sort of idea?
Well, I'll just say that, courage doesn't mean that you're not afraid. Right. Courage is just doing the thing that you feel is right, even if you are afraid, and speaking even when your hands are shaking and your voice is shaking, doing it anyway. So fear, it might not never go away, but how are you going to wait till fear disappears from your life before you do that thing that you love? What better time than now? Wake up in the morning, say some positive affirmations, look yourself in the mirror and say, you can do it, buddy, because I, John Lee Rucker, I do believe in you.
Absolutely. And that's what I've been... what I love is like the sense, people getting a sense of urgency, right? I mean, and I love it ties in with what you're doing. There's a sense of urgency around the planet, right? Like, hey, we only have so long before you know it, that we're not going to have a planet to live on that's going to sustain life. So, I mean, we need to realize like it really is urgent and we need to take action now because our life's happening right now, right? So any last words before we wrap up for today?
Well, I just want to give a shout out to my partner over there, Jenny Carrington. She's, we started an organization called We Are Mother Earth. That's a whole nother story. And she's been walking across the country. She walked 2,550 miles, and she's got 450 miles to go. And she's raising $80,000 to build a really revolutionary type of greenhouse in schools for the school students to learn this type of way of interacting with nature and producing their own food. And it's so much more deep than that, this We Are Mother Earth model. So I want to give a shout out to Jenny Carrington and also for folks at home to check out www.permajam.com. And there's plenty of ways to get involved and support what we're doing as well. Lots of love to everybody listening.
Awesome. And that's actually was a vision I had long ago, is to bike and or walk across the country. I'm always grateful to hear people that are doing that, especially as it ties to the message around taking care of the planet, etc. So that's amazing, and so I'm grateful that's happening. So anyway, I'm grateful to have met with you, and many blessings to you in your work.
Many blessings to you as well. Thank you so much for the time, and a spiritual rock star.
All right, so I'm here with Jenny Carrington, and we're just going to dive in this time. So tell me, what does it mean to you to be a spiritual rock star?
Ooh, that's a great question. To me, being a spiritual rock star means amplifying what you've learned along your journey such that you feel confident and great stepping into your power and sharing it with others. So you can be a very spiritual person and do it in private, and that's okay, and there's nothing wrong with that. But being a spiritual rock star means that you're ready to get onto the stage of life and share your triumphs and put your best foot forward, your practice that you've been working on, just like a routine, just like a song, and share it with the world and ask them to join in and create a movement.
Oh, that's amazing. Now, all I know is you've walked some 2,000 miles across the country from what I understand, and I kind of got a clue as to what it was about. But tell us about what you've been up to with your work, with this walk you've been on.
Sure thing. I'm walking for my own company, which is called We Are Mother Earth. We are actually looking to raise $80,000 to do a proof of concept, which is that's the first one ever, Spark Pod. A Spark Pod is an educational greenhouse. It's a zero carbon emissions greenhouse, which can feed schools and also teach kids at the same time about climate change, about how to grow their own food, where it's coming from. You can do yoga in this space. You can do self-development programs. So it's a futuristic greenhouse, and we want to pilot that right here at Free LA High School.
Wow. So awesome. So what is it that inspires you and keeps you moving 2,000 miles across the country? I mean, how does somebody take those leaps of faith? So whatever their 2,000 miles is, you know what I mean? Like the people that are feeling like, I don't know if I could do this or I can't do that. You must have considered that probably at least once before you did this. And what would you recommend for people to overcome their fears about taking the leap? Because what you did, it's like there's so many questions of how it's going to work out. You could easily shut it down. So what advice do you give to people to not overthink something and just take the leap to do what they feel like they should be doing, really?
I always return to the idea of children, and I think about it in two ways. Number one, how much energy I had and sense of adventure that I had when I was a child, and never wanting to lose that. And I asked myself, what would 6th grade Jenny think of this? What would 18-year-old Jenny think of this? Would she give up, or would she keep going? That's the first thing. And then as I'm no longer those ages, I'm almost 32, and I'm not yet a mother, but I did help raise 12 siblings that were younger than me. I think about what kind of adults do children need. Children need adults that are going to fight for them. They need adults that are healed. They need adults that know how to cook healthy foods, that are going to make sure that we have clean water and air for our next generations and think beyond just themselves. So I'm always thinking about the kids and making sure that they're not going to go hungry.
Well, that's so amazing that, you had 12 siblings, and it kind of put that in your psyche, right? So there's a reason for everything, and it's so beautiful the way how people's paths unfold. Do you have any last words or anything else you'd like to share with our audience before we wrap up?
Well, I'll just say, just to add on to that question, one more thing was that I often get people telling me that I'm very brave for doing this. You're so brave. And what I want to say to them all the time is that there are 400,000 individuals almost in each major city who are doing what I'm doing every day, living on the streets, not knowing where their next meal is going to come from, don't have a place to get cleaned up, take care of their proper hygiene. So I would like everyone to think of those people in the way that they would think of their own daughter or think of me, because I think they look at me and think, I would never want her out there. But I look very different, and I'm treated very, very differently when I'm out on the road. So I would like us all to think about, when we pass people on the street, to remember the humanity in everyone.
Right. Right, and that's I could do an episode on what you're talking about there. Like, what is that journey like? I hope you're going to write a book on this. So it's an amazing thing to consider. Like when you're walking down the street, what some of the things you've experienced, and the thoughts and the concepts people would have had of that. So where do people check out more about what you're up to?
So people can find me very easily by opening up a new message on your phone and texting the number 64600, and the message is going to be Mother Earth. That's again, text Mother Earth to 64600.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much, and I'm grateful for what you're up to, Jenny, so much, and it's just absolutely amazing. And, I think, too, the last thing that comes to mind is, like, once you actually commit, you take the steps, literally, there's a momentum, and it's like you don't want to stop. And you get into an unstoppable spirit. And I think you're a great model for that. And if people just could remember, just keep taking one step at a time. You cannot ever fail. You're going to experience fulfillment and likely everything that you've ever imagined. So thank you for being an inspiration.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it is one step at a time, one day at a time, and I need everyone's support, everyone that's listening, to contribute so that I can make it from Phoenix to LA. So if you're listening, please go ahead and check out the website and donate what you can. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you, and make sure you do that. This is something that needs to be funded. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. My energy is dropping. You too, right? What's the plan for the morning? We don't know yet? We're going to ask Tracy.
Oh mon Dieu.
What?
No, it's okay. My car's not done. Oh yeah.
Precious.
Yes, sir.
Are things been canceled for tomorrow? That's what you heard?
That's what I'm told. We have this canceled. I'm just finding out some. Don't attack pressure. Don't attack pressure. Right. I'm gonna start asking you like, why do you think we're starting at this point when it really just is becoming so perfect? It has to be a So how are you doing that? You going to the bar? Okay, I'm going to go change my shoes and I'm coming. What time do you plan to go home? Whatever. My feet hurt first.
You're listening to Spiritual Rockstar Podcast. Stay tuned for our next upcoming new episodes each Wednesday and Saturday. Please be sure to subscribe, rate, and review to help us to serve you best. As a reminder, you can get your free Meditate and Make Money meditation at www.yoursacredpurpose.com to rock your sacred purpose. Goodbye for now, everybody.